Hey guys, today is day 7 of the Christmas devotion. I guess that's what I'm going to call it, because that's what I've started calling it. So, today we're going to be talking about, he came to multiply. The verse is, of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end. That's Isaiah 9:7. So, this says, this sentence is the capstone to Isaiah's Christmas story. First, he told us who this king would be by telling us all of his beautiful names. Now he tells us what his kingdom will look like, and it's an astounding description, constantly increasing security and peace, endless and eternal. If this blueprint for his kingdom, if this is the blueprint for his kingdom, then I would like a home right in the middle of it, please. So would I. So she talks about, I'm not going to read it all, but she talks about how that her family is fighting the ALS battle with her husband after he was diagnosed, and she has 3 daughters and a son. Her son is 11 years old whenever her husband is diagnosed, and she starts questioning things, and she's wondering, how in the world is this boy going to become a man? How is he going to do things? I actually skipped a little bit ahead of where I was at, or where I should have been, but anyway, she says, everything we once held dear seemed to be slipping through our fingers, but now, as we walk further down the road, and as we are learning to continually shift the weight of our government to his shoulders, where am I at? His sturdy shoulders, he is consistently proving himself and his grand plans for our future. Look at how he does it. And this is why I went back. I wanted to read this scripture. To all who mourn in Israel, he will give a crown of beauty for ashes, a joyous blessing instead of mourning, festive praise instead of despair. In their righteousness, they will be like great oaks that the Lord has planted for his own glory. Isaiah 61:3. Oh, this is very exciting. Isaiah has listed the raw material God uses to provide all we need to bring increase to our lives. You may feel that you have nothing valuable to bring to him, and that's okay. It turns out he needs only tears and ashes to create beauty and joy. He is so good at taking the dregs in our barrel and transforming them into something beautiful. So she goes on then to talk about her son, and how that one of the biggest fears that she had after her husband's diagnosis was her children, especially their 11-year-old son. And she was wondering, she said, I felt desperately inadequate to be both mom and dad to that boy. How would he learn to be strong, to change a tire, to treat a lady? And what about the deeper, more important intangibles? Would he grow bitter and hard as he watched his dad suffer? Would he question the goodness of God, of a God who would allow such sufferings? Some of you may have, and I know some of you did and do, have a spouse who was sick. Some sick before they passed away, some just sick still. You have children whom some are now grown, some are not maybe, that have seen your spouse go through these things. And I'm sure you've wondered some of those things. Like, how am I supposed to teach him how to do what he's supposed to be doing? How am I supposed to teach him how to do something like change a tire, you know? Which, if you come from where I come from, most girls do know how. But it doesn't matter. That's not what I'm saying. But how can, like, a mom would probably say, how can I teach him to be a real man? How can I teach him to treat a woman? I mean, usually, if the household is the way it should be, the children will learn by the way that the things are going in the family. And if one partner is sick, it might be more difficult for the children to learn, because it's not the same dynamic as it would have been before whenever someone does get sick. I hope this makes sense. But maybe you have raised children and they saw how that your partner, your spouse was sick and suffered, and maybe they are questioning God. Maybe they're questioning, well, why would God let this happen to my father? Why would he let this happen to my mother? Why would he let this happen to me? Why did he let me be in pain? Why did he let my parent pass away? You know, there's lots of questions you might have, and you might worry a lot about that child, what's going to happen. And She said, I felt like I was praying over a little pile of ashes, begging God to breathe life and hope, and He did. As the months and story unfolded, I watched in amazement as the beautiful things began to happen in the heart of that little man. A new compassion for hurting people came to life, and along with it, a passion to help raise funds for find a cure. So her story was great. It worked out wonderfully. Her child became passionate about things, and he helps his dad, and things worked out good. Sometimes our worries are not needed, but we can't control them. Like, people say, well, oh, I don't worry about that. Is that true? Is it true? Because there have been things where I thought I didn't worry about, but it was still there. It was still in my mind. I still thought about it. It still crept in. Those thoughts that we don't really want, but there they are. You can't control them. They just pop in, uninvited, especially during the holidays. There are thoughts that pop in, like around my daddy's birthday, he would have been so and so years old. He would have been this years old. He didn't get to see this whenever one of my children, something happened. And, I say, well, I don't worry about it anymore. There's nothing I can do about it. But you do. You do worry. You do think about things. You are concerned about things. And I had this very, very bad habit. I had started saying, oh, well, I'm not worrying. I'm just a little concerned. Concerned? Changing the word didn't make a difference. It's still worry. We think about the things. They pop in our head. While we're going through the pain, while we're going through the suffering, the things they'll be there. They'll pop in. But we're going to make it through as long as we rely on our Prince of Peace. As long as we rely on the one who is fighting our battles. As long as we rely on the one who is there to help us. Okay, so she goes on talking about how that her son has been transformed. She really didn't have anything to worry about with her son. And sometimes we do find that. We don't really have anything to worry about, but we worry. The outcome is okay, but we still worry. Sometimes the outcome is not okay, and then we worry more. But that's okay too. It's something we can't control at times. And I used to think that worrying was a sin. Now, I do believe that you can cause yourself more struggle, more pain, more worry. I believe that's wrong. But sometimes we can't control it. Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes we just have to keep going until we can get where we got to get. Sometimes we have to. I'm not saying worry's okay. I'm saying it's going to happen. But what we need to do when we start seeing that it's happening, that it is worry, we need to start praying. We need to start giving it to God. We need to start studying our word. We need to find solutions from the Lord to help us through it. I hope that makes sense. But I just want to encourage you and let you know that we are going to have concerns. We're going to have concerns. We're going to have worry. And it doesn't matter what word we use. It's still the same thing. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter if we sugarcoat it and make it pretty. It's still the same thing. We're going to have it. We shouldn't feel guilty about it. But we need to know who to give it to. We need to know where to put it. I guess you could say. All right, so let's see. We're going to look at this treasure of the scripture again in a few days, but for today, just consider the fact that your brokenness is only material God needs in order to build something grand. We don't have to bring Him perfect plans, perfect prayers, or perfect peace. We just bring our own sad selves, and He does all the work. Isn't that fabulous? We just come to Him. We just come to Him. Our old, broken, messed up selves, and He does all the work. I mean, that's a pretty good trade. For me to bring my old wrecked self and he fixes it. That's wonderful. That sounds like, I got the best end of the deal. Not that I feel sorry for God. He chose that. But sounds like he's not getting the good end of the whole situation, right? I mean, it feels like I'm getting the best. That kind of thing. Can you trust him with your brokenness today? Can you believe that out of the pain of your battle could come endless security and peace? Believe it, friend. It's for you. He came. So the finding hidden hope, the thing to do today. Close your eyes and hold out your hands in front of you as you think of all the things in your life that feel insecure or depleted this Christmas. Now extend your hands to him and ask him to use these very things as the ingredients for increase. You'll be amazed at what he can do with a government that is given over to his goodness. So what it's saying is, you hold your hands out, you think about all these things that you're going through, and then you give them to him. Is it going to be perfect? Is it all going to just go away? All your anxiety, all your fear, all your pain? No, it's not. It's a process. But God will take you through the process. And that's what matters. God is going to keep you while he's taking you through it. And that's what we need to look at. We need to look at him, not ourselves. Because there is absolutely no way we can make it without looking to him. So, I hope this made sense today. I feel like I got all over the place again. This is the last one I'm going to be filming today. This is the 7th one. So, I'll at least have 7 out. So, I'll see you again next time. I do hope that I will be able to record the rest. If I'm not able to, then I'll do it after Christmas. Because it doesn't matter what time of the year, we need Jesus. It doesn't matter when it is. But I'm going to do my best to get it all done. But I hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I do appreciate it. And if you don't mind, leave me a comment down below. Let me know how you're doing, because I really do want to know. If you have a prayer request, you can leave that down below and I'll add you to my list. And remember, don't take any wooden nickels, and be sweet.